Hello and welcome to Tech Talks. I'm your host Brian, and today I'm joined by Ms. Smith and Ms. Bosque. And today we'll be talking about social workers. So the first thing I'm asking you guys for today is, where can I find you two?
So 3 of the social workers work with grades 9 through 12, and we're in the guidance suite, which is upstairs in the main building, right across from the hall from TV Media.
And so I'm Ms. Bosque. My office is in the annex building, so that's across the street. If it's in the back of the building, it's kind of confusing, even though it's a very small building. But there's a front set of stairs where the main building is, and then there's a back set of stairs. And my office is in the back corner where Miss Miller, who's the guidance counselor, and we're in 2050. So it sounds confusing, but it's a little easier once you get into the building.
So it's like if you were to enter the 8th grade hallway, it'd be there, right?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
When you go to Miss Miller's thing, like
yes,
the counselor place, there.
Yes. So we have the same office, which is interesting because we're paired up this year. Social workers are paired up with guidance counselors. So I think we're going to be talking a little bit more about that.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that because I haven't gone to guidance this year since I didn't really have any major changes or like things that I needed to talk to Mr. O'Connell about. But that's good to know. So on to the next thing I have to ask for you guys. What's the difference between our social workers and guidance?
So that's a really good question. 3 of the social workers were brought on this year, and that was in response to the pandemic, and we wanted to respond to a lot of the needs that we were seeing for students. We work really closely with guidance counselors, like Ms. Bosque said. They have a huge impact here at Lynn Tech, and we all work together as a team. So, like she said, we're paired up with them, and guidance mostly focuses more on academic support. So like you said, you didn't go to your guidance counselor because you didn't have any questions about your schedule. So they can help a lot with things like scheduling, academics, and like college and career. And then social workers have more of a social emotional focus, which your guidance counselor can help you with that too, right? Because sometimes like our social emotional challenges or things that are going on at home can impact how we are at school and how we do academically, right? So socially would be like if you have a friend or relationship that's been really hard for you recently, we can kind of help you talk it through. Emotional challenges would be feelings of like sadness or anxiety or stress, things that we all experience, and sometimes they impact the way we go about our day-to-day lives. And resources would be helping you find things like maybe food or housing support, different programs in the community, or if you need help getting a more involved therapist. Those are just some of the things that we can help you with, but that's like the basics.
I didn't know the difference that well of guidance and our social workers, but that's good to know because how would I put it in words? I just really didn't know the difference because if I'm being completely honest, I didn't know that we had social workers.
Yeah.
Until like last year maybe, or it was like 8th grade. That's when I found out. Because usually if we're having problems or anything, when I went to Breathe, they just say, go to guidance. They never really made a reference to our social workers.
Yeah. I think that's why we've structured it the way that we did this year, pairing us up with guidance, because a lot of people know that guidance is the hub for, if you've got something going on, you go to guidance for sure. And so that's why we paired up with them, because it just flows really nicely at the school.
All right, to ask a question now, since we know what the purpose of social workers were, or now I know at least. Who are social workers? Like,
yeah.
You two?
No, there's 4 of us now. So Miss Leiden has been here. I'm Miss Smith. We have Miss Bosque, who's sitting across from me, and we have Miss Quinlan. So like Miss Bosque said, we paired up with the guidance counselors. So Miss Bosque is with the 8th graders with Miss Miller. Me, Miss Smith, I'm with Mr. O'Connell. Miss Quinlan is paired up with Mrs. Smith, and Miss Leiden is with Miss Toomey.
Are you guys always available?
Yep. So we're available pretty much anytime during the school day. I think the difference between us and a therapist is one of the places that we're very different is in availability. We're kind of middlemen almost, and almost like who responds when there's a crisis or there's something that's unplanned for. So maybe you, for example, you get to school, you're having a tough day, and then later on in the day you just need a break. So that's sort of where our office is the place that you'd want to go take that break. If you wanted the company, and I think if you wanted to take a walk around, that's also an option, but we're sort of there to give you that physical support. Therapists, we refer you to them, and that's if you need something more structured. So if you were to need someone every week, several times a day, then okay, so we're going to have a conversation that is about getting you the proper therapy, the proper services, so that school is a little easier to get through. And I guess I can mention how I communicate with some students. If it's not coming from the vice principal, Miss Hayward, for 8th grade, or another teacher, if a student isn't being sent to me that way, I do have some students that send me a message over Schoology, and I'm not sure if you guys use Schoology. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I guess high school side also uses Schoology. And then based on my availability, I'll let that student know, oh, you can pop in for 5 minutes at this time. But for the most part, I think it's okay to say we have an open door policy and you can check in whenever you need it.
Mm-hmm.
So similar to like guidance, where if I have like a trouble with something, because you guys work with more like personal issues, because guidance, like you said, was more school related, like classes, all that stuff. But social workers are like, if I'm feeling bad, like pretend it's kind of sad, like if my cat died or something, I'd come to you guys because I'm feeling sad and I just can't be in class. But if it's something not sad, not like personal like that, if it was like, oh, I'm really unhappy with my English teacher, he's kind of mean, then I go to guidance, right?
Sure. And I think it's safe to say too, like there's nothing that you can't come to us with. We're adults in the building that want to make sure that students feel supported in whatever ways they feel like they need to be. So I think it's rare for me to say, you know, that's not something that you would come to me for. We work as a team with guidance. We just have more specialty in the areas that we work in. So we're there to support you in any way. But you're right with that example.
That's good. Because I never really dove into this, because I mean, I get sad, but I've never really thought about going to a social worker, if that makes sense. But that's good to know if you're really in like need of help, like you're actually having like some sort of mental crisis, or not like mental crisis, like it sounds like you're going insane, but like if you're just feeling down, you haven't been in the mood for like the past few days, it's good to go to you. But if it's more serious, like you're going into like a depression, I mean, you can go to you guys, right? But you'd probably say to go to like a therapist, wouldn't you?
But like, please come to us.
Yeah.
We will help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's smarter to go to you guys, because being sad and like going through your classes, you're gonna bomb your grades. Your grades are just gonna go down because you're not gonna be paying attention. So it's smarter if you're like feeling sad or just not in the mental space.
Yeah.
Check in with your social worker.
Yeah, definitely. I think coming back to school has been a lot harder than anyone really anticipated. This has been a really tough transition for everybody, and everyone's had their own range of reactions to it. Some people are super psyched to be back in person and seeing all their friends, but some people, you know, some days are a lot harder than the others. It might be a tough transition. So that's why we're here. Like, we don't want students to feel like if they're struggling with something, they have to deal with it on their own. And we're here to support you.
That's it. Because I know for a fact there's a lot of people that are like not suffering, but it's just like hard for them, because it's really sudden how school just got canceled. Now we're all at home, and then we have to get used to being at home, doing all our schoolwork at home, and then right away we're back to being in person. So it's like kind of a weird transition almost, because you're in school, then suddenly at home, and now you're back in school, and now you have to get used to how you used to do your stuff, get back to your routine, all that stuff, which is going to be hard. Because personally for me, when I was in school for like being at home, I did not do work. I slept at like 5 in the morning, woke up at 7, and then I'd stay awake till like first, second period maybe, then go to sleep. That's it. So my grades down the drain. It was terrible. But now I had to get used to waking up early. I'm not going to waking up early, but like falling asleep early, and then waking up early, getting ready for school.
That wasn't just you who had a tough time when we were remote. I think that was everyone, you know, staff, teachers, guidance counselors, social workers, everyone included. One thing I'm trying to remind myself is it's not getting back to normal, because normal is different now. It's about figuring out what the right habit, what the right routine is now, since we have to get adjusted to all of these changes and new things, which is hard. And then I just wanted to say there's no problem that's too big or too small ever. I think what we as people do is tend to say, well, my problem isn't that big of a problem. You know, I'm not ready to be hospitalized, so I don't need help. But that's usually when, you know, things are already that bad if we ever get to that point.
Well, thank you guys for coming here to explain all this stuff, because if it wasn't for you guys coming here, I wouldn't really still know what social workers are for and what, like, the purpose they're here for. But to end it on a good note, since we kind of went through like a few like darker things, I just want to say, for everyone who's listening to this and you guys here, have a good day. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Instagram account at LVTI TV Media.